What does a movie about the true story of a man from New York City hitchhiking his way across Vietnam to bring his friends beer have to do with the Nebraska Vietnam Veterans Memorial? Well, Andrew Moscato, the producer of The Greatest Beer Run Ever, says the purpose of the film is very similar to that of the memorial.
First and foremost, we want to honor those who served in Vietnam. They were denied the thank you for your service treatment that later veterans thankfully did receive, but I feel like they've never really truly gotten their due, and hopefully this film is a very small gesture in kind of making that right.
Moscato joined former Nebraska Senator and Governor Bob Kerrey and the film's director, two-time Academy Award winner Peter Farrelly, for a showing of the film to benefit the memorial.
Because it takes you in the right direction. It takes you in the direction, okay, now what are you going to do? Yes, honor the people who served. Respect that they didn't get the homecoming they deserve.
Most times I see a Vietnam movie, it's basically one-sided, and I didn't want that. I wanted to show both sides. Like, it's basically, this movie is about supporting the soldiers, but in a truthful way.
George Abbott from the foundation told the story on how the memorial project went from being 396 to 400 lives lost.
1969, there was a collision between the USS Evans and the Melbourne, which is an Australian carrier. And in that collision, 74 sailors died, 4 of them which were from Nebraska. And we've managed to get them on our wall. We delayed the engraving of our honor wall, so their names will be on the wall. This is why you do memorials, so you can remember these people that gave their lives. And this is why we're doing this memorial for the other 396 people that gave their lives.
The former senator addressed questions about working across party lines with former Senator Chuck Hagel to help build this memorial.
For people who wonder whether or not democracy sucks, it doesn't. It's difficult, and it can look awful, but it can be very, very rewarding. And a lot of the work that Chuck and I actually did together is extremely rewarding, including this.
Right now, the area adjacent to Sumter Amphitheater, where the memorial will sit, is just an empty piece of grass and brush. But there's still work to be done even before construction begins.
We do still need to meet our financial goal for the project. We also need to get more awareness of the project out into central and western Nebraska, because this is a statewide Vietnam Veteran Memorial.
Lisa Cuevas Jorgensen is the vice president of the Memorial Foundation, and even though she didn't serve, her connection to the war and the memorial is strong.
What we have found through this project is that the memorial is not only going to be a place of healing for those families who have sacrificed so much. My uncle went to Vietnam. He came back, seemingly had a normal life, but he took his own life in May of 1976. We didn't know anything about PTSD back then. We didn't know anything about the mental health that was needed for our veterans back then. And so I mentioned that he's a victim of the aftermath of the Vietnam War.
The director summed up his hopes in telling the greatest beer run story. Memorial Foundation.
My goal telling
and even
the
though the connection to the war and the memorial is strong.
Vietnam vet who walked out of the theater would say, that was accurate. I wanted to be accurate. But I also wanted to be accurate on the other side. People who were against the war say, that was accurate.
Came back.
For Papillion Now, I'm Michael Severe.